Welcome, everybody. This, right here, right now, is The Joy of Being a Live stream. Brought to you live from Brooklyn, New York. This is our current co-host, Sila the dog. Sila doesn't know that we're live streaming, which is weird. Isn't that weird? Why don't you know we're live streaming? Little buddy. Welcome, folks. If you haven't met my dog lately, look at how giant this dog is compared to how big it was before. This dog is super giant. Look at that super dog. This is Sila. Hi, Sila. You're flying through the sky, Sila. Folks, I'm very excited. We're going to be doing something special today. Today is Meditation Day. The joy of being a live dog. Does the dog have Buddha nature? Hello, Nick. Giant super dog, yeah. Super dog indeed. She was whining a little before, so I thought instead of putting her in our little area, we would actually just bring her out here. Stretch her out a little. Yeah, nice stretch. Look at that stretch. Good girl. Yeah, she's a cutie. So, this is the pupper. She's slowly learning how to be a good little lady. And I thought I'd bring her on. Okay, so I'm going to put her back because she's a squirmy wormy. And I'll be right back. Yes, indeed. So, folks, how exciting it is to finally be here. Waited all weekend for this. Very excited, very excited. Got to handle them early or they won't take to it kindly. Yeah, we do just a ton of handling with this little lady. We're trying to do everything. We're like messing with her feet and doing all the things you do with a dog. Now it's to the point where we're actually beginning to sort of train her. So it's lovely. And if folks want, whenever you want, just request Get the Dog because it's always like a few feet away. So if you want a little hit of oxytocin, visit from the old Sila. And if folks don't know, Sila is considered a third of the path of I'm just going to continue the rest of this stream just in complete gibberish. Sila is considered between anywhere from a third to 100% of the path of Buddhism. I'm not a strict Buddhist, but I like their technology. So, folks, we're here. I have exciting news. Very exciting news. Oh, wait, is my news foiled? No, it's not foiled. Ladies and gentlemen, we have this striker. We don't have to use our various objects around the room to strike the bell. And not only that, we're going to be doing something exciting today. We're going to be meditating, which is delightful. Today is our final day of our Equanimity series. Doesn't mean you have to not be equanimous for the rest of your life, but it does mean that today is the last of these 7 guided meditations. So we're going to have a little fun. Just so folks know, we have a co-host here. This is our co-host, Planty McPlantface, and our co-host rotates. Whoever would like to be the co-host can be the co-host. Typically we'll do something with the last person to donate. We'll be the co-host for the following day, but I don't know. Maybe we'll switch it up. Maybe if somebody just requests they can be the co-host or requests that someone else will be the co-host, I think you can do that right now because I'm not really doing this for the money. Although, hey, listen, those subscriptions help. You're getting some nice hiccups in this stream. Wondering if it's just Chromecast, but no big deal. Okay, so anyone else let me know if you're getting any sort of hiccups in the stream. I'm pretty sure it looks like things are running pretty smooth here. No, that's the wrong thing. Yeah, it looks like our Siggy is pretty dope. Okay, great. So it looks like on our end it's pretty good, but that happens live stream. You know how it is. Okay, not a deal breaker. Liz, thanks so much. I'm glad we didn't break the deal. Folks, finding that nice comfortable position. we're going to maintain the position for the duration of the sit. So I'd love if you could be still. You know, when it's in a class and I can observe people, there's more pressure to stay still because, you know, they move and you can actually, everyone hears it, and there's sort of like, you know, a little social pressure. So just imagine we're here literally together, and if you move, you're going to get, well, nothing will happen actually, but try to stay still. But again, don't torture yourself, especially if you're if you have a background of trauma like me. Be gentle. If you try to stay still, and if you need to move, feel free to move and adjust. Let's see. Okay. Try disabeling low latency. So, sorry, Tomalyn, are you suggesting that I try to disable low latency, or is this probably somebody else or me? Let me see. I can just open up here, see if anyone. I'll just change this out. See if I can change this setting real quick. Just checking if I can change this output. Audio rate profile. I'm not seeing on the viewer end. Okay, well, that helps. Good thing I took time to figure that out. Okay, folks, finding that nice, comfortable seated position. Would this be fun if I guide the meditation like taking a few comfortable deep breaths, like really up in your ear? I kind of do that already, but we'll go from there. Before we begin, take your matcha. This is important. Take a few sips. Listen to that matcha foam crackling. I don't know if you can hear that. When you're ready, finding that nice, comfortable position. Yeah, ASMR, exactly, ASMR on Wednesdays. And before I forget, I have to remind myself of this stuff all the time. Remind myself of this. Tumlin, let's figure out advertisements, because I don't know if there's a way for me to shut off advertisements for people. If I can, I would love to, but I don't know if I can. So let's talk about that after. Just make a note. And find that nice, comfortable position. And let's see if this works. We'll begin. Gotta fix the timer. 1 second, folks. I tried to do something tricky with the timer. Didn't work. Thanks for bearing with me here. There we go. Hey, we got ourselves a timer. Almost there, folks. I know you're all agonized, waiting for me. Oh, I see. Perfect. And we'll begin. beginning by taking a few comfortable deep breaths. And just feeling the body rise and fall. Something we'll be introducing in this practice is checking if the mind is stable, conscious, or if it's a little unstable, a little jittery. So is our awareness of the sensation we're detecting, like a flowing stream of oil being poured, unbroken, perfectly smooth? Or is it like a drip? Or an agitated flow? And it's typically somewhere in this range. So starting at the top of the head, relax the brow. Relax the muscles behind the eyes. Allow the face to go smooth. Relax the back of the tongue, allowing it to fall towards gravity. And allow the jaw to go slack. And noticing if the mind is continuously observing these sensations or if it's returning over and over or slightly jittery. None of these is better than the other. We're just trying to notice. Relaxing the shoulders and the upper arms, the elbows, forearms, wrists, and relaxing the hands. Tuning into the subtle sensations in the palms of the hands and tips of the fingers. And noticing as the mind observes these sensations, is the observation perfectly continuous? Or is it a lot of small freeze frames? Again, no judgment needed. These are natural states of the mind. Not controlling the breath, just letting the body breathe as it will. Noticing the natural tightening and relaxing of the upper chest and upper back as the breath comes and goes. Relaxing the belly and the lower back. Relaxing the hips and the upper legs. The knees and calves. The ankles, and relaxing the feet. And gently holding all of the body sensations together. And for most of us, our awareness of the body will not be perfectly stable. Again, not a problem. Just noticing if the activity of the mind, the wakefulness, is causing the mind to be a little bit jittery. And without shrinking down to these sensations, simply knowing the sensations of the breath along with the general sense of body sensations. We're simply going to be observing whether the mind is stable or less stable. If the mind is truly unstable, we'll simply be distracted, and that's not a problem. Just coming back to either more or less stability. If it's helpful, labeling stable or less stable. And simply knowing the level of stability. Is a way of training our equanimity. Knowing that the stable mind is stable, that the less stable mind is less stable. Not needing it to be any different. If the mind is pulled towards lots of distractions, this is a very common form of instability. Not a problem. Just knowing this. One way that we find stability is through the balance of the bit of attention we have on the breath and awareness, letting awareness absorb the potential distractions, creating a kind of gentle buffer. A kind of liquid layer that can gently hold the bit of attention we have on the sensations of the breath. And we can continue with these instructions, simply noticing more or less stability. Or if we'd like, we could observe the flavor of instability, knowing that these might become very subtle, not big movements of the mind, just a simple shuddering, slight wavering of the mind, noticing if it's clinging or averting, if the mind is reaching and grabbing something or if it's pushing something away. Using these labels, clinging or averting, or if we like, push and pull for shorter labels. If we find that the mind is neither pushing or pulling, it's important to note this. So just knowing this as equanimity, or if we'd like to use a label, we can simply call it peace. So we're simply noting or labeling push for the mind pushing something away, pull for the mind reaching for something, and peace for when these two tendencies fall away, even for just a moment. If we find that we become distracted, it's not a problem. Again, all of these experiences are entirely natural, not to be wrestled over or overcome, simply to be known. And if we'd like a label for when we recognize we've been distracted, we can use the label lost, or simply note the unconsciousness as we return. We may still be observing the balance of attention and awareness related to the breath. Or if we feel that we're relatively stable, we can just let our attention and awareness float wherever they are pulled. If we find that we're losing concentration a lot, there's a lot of unconsciousness, coming back to the balance of the breath, if that's helpful. Now using the momentum that we've developed, letting go of any particular object, And just letting ourselves occupy, experience the large open awareness. Whatever's available for us at this moment. A zoomed out view of our current experiences. And just observe the mind's level of equanimity. And no level of equanimity is better than another. Being honest with ourselves is the key. And as we do this, opening up to the larger experience of awareness, we can notice many of the same qualities are arising, pushing, pulling, peace, unconsciousness, even if they're very subtle. Allowing a tiny bit of light to enter the eyes. And as the eyes fully open, eventually resting on one point, letting this increase of visual material show us about equanimity. Teach us about the spacious, open awareness that the mind has contact with, to a lesser or greater extent. And letting this transition show us how we can bring this practice into every aspect of our life. Okay. So welcome back to the eyes open portion of this live stream. Yes, so what was that like? What happened? And what do you like now? Okay. All right, folks. Unfold yourself. See if you can notice how the body would feel more free. My body wants to stretch. So folks, what was that like? How was that meditation for you? Yeah, Liz is saying that noticing the breath felt like clinging itself. So one of the things that tends to happen is that we tend to, oh yeah, folks there's a Discord link if you want to jump on the Discord. That is available too. That means we could chat by voice or that kind of thing. One of the things that happens in meditation is clinging and aversion get a bad rap. And the reason for that is that, I mean, they sound pretty bad. Clinging, right? Clinging is bad and the way we talk about it in our society. But what we want to get to is a place where we can recognize that where we have aversion towards the concept of clinging, and that the mind is going to cling. It's going to do that at certain times. It's just part of the nature of the mind. And part of that clinging is really useful, right? We can direct the mind towards a particular set of sensations, stay with those sensations for a period of time, observe what they're like, and potentially let it go, potentially come back to that sensation over and over again. But that is exactly a type of directing of our consciousness. And that's a lot of what we need to do if we want to develop our meditation skills. The thing is, challenge being that if we don't learn what clinging and aversion is, or we don't learn the mind's tendency to do this, we can do this unconsciously and not recognize that even the volition and the energy towards meditation itself, at some point will get in the way. At some point will actually be the thing that sort of causes us these kind of challenges. So hopefully that's helpful. And that's part of why this is part of the Equanimity series, and we've done a lot of non-doing practice along with what we've been doing here. So yeah, that's generally the case. So folks, any other reports or questions before we head on into the night? Last time we did a little art review, which was fun. I don't know how much people like that, but that was a good time for me. What else is going on for folks? What else is new? I've been thinking about, there's a good chance that I might start actually doing a bunch of streaming, because I want to record some extra meditations, and I like recording them live because I just feel like there are people there, which is always nice. And so I'll keep folks posted, but I might just be doing longer streams, or I might be doing streams like in the evening and that kind of thing. Okay, Nick says, feels like concentration is improving, but by not valuing distraction as bad. That is absolutely the case in my experience, that the judgment of distraction as bad is often some unconsciousness, which is, not always, unconsciousness is typically not ideal for meditation. Striving, decreasing. Noting peace most of the time, great. That's noting whatever's happening is wonderful, which brought confusion, since almost all of that going on in my mind is getting more of the good and less of the bad. Not striving feels odd. Yeah, neutrality feels very weird. Neutrality is a strange place to visit, and even a stranger place to live. Yeah, it's so much of our experience is driven by this like forward-leaning experience, and we don't have to give that up. Actually, we just have to be conscious of it and be able to stop or be able to step out of that when we want. Part of the premise is that we don't need to be pulled into that stream, and the way that we do that is we become very skilled at hanging out with and connecting with a neutral experience. So, excellent! I'm glad that was fun. Anything else, folks? I want to make sure folks have time, but also get you out of meditation detention. Awesome. Okay, folks, so thank you so much for joining. I'm going to put on this closing music. Did I change the... Okay, I changed the GIF here. So, folks, it's great to have been here with you. Thank you so much for joining us in this beautiful, spacious morning, full of a variety of emotions and ups and downs and puppies and images and plans. The mind roaming and dancing,